I had been married to Jessica for 5 years. 5 years of what I thought was a solid partnership. I worked as an engineer at a mid-sized tech company, nothing fancy, but we paid our bills and lived comfortably. Jessica worked in marketing and had this group of friends from college, successful women, wealthy women, the kind who posted vacation photos that made you wonder how they afforded it all. When Jessica told me about the weekend beach resort trip with her girls, I was actually happy for her. She deserved a break. I told her I would drive us there, make it a little couple time before she had her fun with the group, but something in her voice felt distant when she said the girls instead of we. I brushed it off. I should not have. Because that weekend I would see the truth about my marriage, and it would shatter everything I thought I knew about the woman I loved. Before I tell you what happened next, I would love to know, where are you watching this from? Drop your location in the comments. If you have ever felt invisible in your own relationship, hit that like button. And subscribe, because this story takes a turn nobody saw coming. Trust me, you will want to hear how this ends. Now let me take you back to the moment everything started to unravel. The drive took 3 hours from the city to the coast. 3 hours of me gripping the steering wheel while Jessica sat in the passenger seat, thumbs flying across her phone screen. I tried making conversation, asked about the plans for the weekend. She gave me half answers, distracted by whatever messages kept lighting up her phone. The girls are so excited. Madison booked the best rooms. Amber cannot wait to try the spa. Tiffany said the restaurant there is incredible. Every sentence had the girls in it. Not us, not we, just them. I glanced over at her applying lipstick in the visor mirror, choosing which sunglasses matched her outfit. She looked beautiful, but not for me. That thought crept in quietly, unwelcome but persistent. The resort appeared like something out of a travel magazine. Modern architecture, floor-to-ceiling windows facing the ocean, palm trees swaying in the breeze. I parked and grabbed our bags from the trunk. Well, her bag. One large suitcase for a 2-night stay. I had thrown a small duffel in the back, just essentials. Jessica was already walking ahead, heels clicking on the cobblestone path. I hurried to catch up. Inside the lobby, I heard them before I saw them. 3 women gathered near the reception desk, laughing loudly, designer bags slung over their shoulders. Madison spotted Jessica first. Her platinum blonde hair was styled in perfect waves, and she wore a dress that probably cost more than my monthly car payment. She air-kissed Jessica on both cheeks like they were in some European film. Then came Amber, the influencer with 300,000 followers, phone already out snapping selfies. Her makeup was flawless, each eyelash extension visible even from where I stood. And Tiffany, the finance exec, designer glasses perched on her nose, a leather bag that screamed expensive taste hanging from her arm. They acknowledged me with the kind of greeting you give someone you barely remember meeting. "Oh, hey, Colin." "Right, Colin. Nice to see you." Their eyes slid past me like I was wallpaper. Jessica transformed the moment she joined them. Her voice went higher, brighter. She laughed at things that were not funny. She became someone I did not quite recognize, someone performing, and I was not part of the show. Madison turned to the front desk. 3 rooms for us all, ocean view, booked under Madison Sterling. The receptionist nodded, typing quickly. I stood there next to Jessica, waiting for her to mention our room, waiting for her to say, "and one more for my husband and me." But she said nothing. The silence stretched. I cleared my throat. "Babe, what about our room?" The question came out quieter than I intended. Jessica froze. Her smile flickered. "Oh, I thought you knew. I booked with the girls. This is kind of a girls' trip." I blinked. "But I'm here. I drove us here." Jessica looked uncomfortable, glancing at her friends. Madison stepped in with a laugh that sounded like breaking glass. "Colin, this is for elites only. You know, people who can afford this lifestyle." Amber giggled, covering her mouth with manicured fingers. Tiffany smirked behind her coffee cup. Jessica did not defend me, did not tell them to stop. She just said quietly, almost apologetically, "You can find something nearby." Maybe a motel. I stood in the middle of that pristine lobby, expensive marble under my feet, ambient music playing softly, and felt like I had been slapped. The receptionist looked at me with pity. Jessica was already walking away with her friends, their laughter echoing down the hallway. She did not look back. Not once. I stood there holding my duffel bag keys to the car still in my hand. 5 years of marriage, 5 years of supporting her career, celebrating her wins, being her partner. And this is what I got. The realization hit me like cold water. I was not her husband in that moment. I was an inconvenience, something that did not fit the image she wanted to project. I looked at the receptionist. "Where is the nearest motel?" She gave me directions, her voice gentle. 2 miles south, the Seaside Inn. I nodded. "Thank you." And I walked out. I found the Seaside Inn exactly where she said it would be, a small weathered building with a flickering neon sign. The paint was faded. The parking lot had cracks, but it was clean. That was something. I pushed open the door, and a bell jingled. An elderly woman stood behind the counter, gray hair pulled back in a bun, reading glasses on a chain around her neck. She looked up and smiled warmly. "Welcome, dear. Need a room?" I nodded. "Just for tonight. Maybe 2. She did not ask questions, just slid a registration form across the counter. "I am Mrs. Henderson. You look like you have had a rough day." I tried to smile. Something like that. She handed me a key attached to a plastic tag with the number 7 on it. The room was small. A double bed with a floral comforter, an old television on a dresser, a window that looked out at the parking lot. It was nothing like the ocean view suites at the resort, but it felt honest, real. I dropped my bag on the bed and sat down, staring at my phone. Hours passed. I did not hear from Jessica. Not a text, not a call, nothing. I walked down to a diner across the street, ate a burger that tasted like cardboard, and came back. The sun was setting when my phone finally rang. Jessica. I stared at her name on the screen for 3 rings before I answered. "Hey, where are you?" Her voice sounded casual, like this was normal, like she had not humiliated me hours earlier. "I'm at a motel, 2 miles from your elite resort." There was a pause. "Oh. Look, the girls want to have dinner at the resort restaurant tonight. It is pretty pricey. Maybe you can grab something on your own." Something inside me snapped. "Jessica, what is going on? Why did you not book a room for me?" Silence, then she sighed. "Colin, you do not understand. These girls, they are successful. I need to fit in. You are just not at that level yet." Those words landed like punches. Not at that level, not good enough, not worthy of being seen with her and her friends. "Jessica, I am your husband." "I know, but can we talk about this later?" "The girls are waiting." She said it like I was being unreasonable, like I was the problem. I felt anger rising in my throat, hot and bitter. "Go. Enjoy your elite friends." I hung up before she could respond. I did not sleep that night. I lay on that motel bed, staring at the water-stained ceiling, replaying the last 5 years in my head. When we first got married, Jessica was different, down to earth, kind. We used to laugh about silly things, cook dinner together, fall asleep watching old movies. But the last 2 years, something shifted. She started spending more time with those friends, started caring more about appearances, designer clothes, expensive restaurants, keeping up. I thought it was a phase. I thought she would come back to me, to us. But tonight, I saw the truth. She was ashamed of me, ashamed of the man who loved her, supported her, stood by her, because I did not make enough money, did not have the right job title, did not fit into her new world. The pain was sharp and deep, but underneath it, something else was forming. Resolve. I did not have to accept this. I did not have to stay with someone who made me feel worthless. Morning came with gray skies. I got up, showered, and decided I needed air. I drove back toward the resort and parked near the public beach access. I walked along the sand, hands in my pockets, trying to clear my head. And then I saw them. Jessica and her friends lounging on beach chairs in a roped-off section near the resort. Private beach access for guests only. They wore expensive bikinis and oversized sunglasses, drinks in hand. I do not know what made me walk over there. Maybe I wanted closure. Maybe I just wanted her to see me one more time. Jessica saw me coming and her body went rigid. Madison noticed first. "Oh, look, the motel guy's here." Amber laughed. "Did you sleep well on those cheap sheets, Colin?" Tiffany joined in. "Maybe he is here to ask Jessica for money." They thought it was hilarious. Jessica stared at her drink, not meeting my eyes. I stopped a few feet away from them. "Jess, look at me." Slowly, she lifted her head. Her eyes were hidden behind dark lenses, but I could see the tension in her jaw. 5 years. 5 years I stood by you, supported your career, celebrated every success of yours. And this is how you see me. Not at the elite level. Jessica opened her mouth, but Madison cut her off. "Oh, please, Colin. Face it, Jessica deserves better. Someone who can keep up with her lifestyle." Amber nodded enthusiastically. "Yeah, she has outgrown you." Tiffany sipped her mimosa. "Maybe it is time for an upgrade, Jess." That was it. The breaking point. I could have yelled, could have made a scene. But I did not. I just looked at Jessica one last time and said calmly, coldly, "You are right. It is time for an upgrade." I turned to walk away, then paused. "When you realize what you lost, do not call me." I did not wait for a response. I walked back across the sand, my footsteps heavy, my heart heavier. Behind me I heard their laughter pick up again, but I also heard something else. Silence from Jessica. I did not look back. I drove back to the Seaside Inn with my hands shaking on the wheel. Mrs. Henderson was watering plants outside when I pulled in. She took one look at my face and set down her watering can. "You all right, young man?" I shook my head. "Not really." She gestured to the chairs on the small porch. "Sit. Talk if you want." So I did. I told her everything, the whole humiliating story. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "A woman who does not respect you does not deserve you. Simple as that." Those words hit me harder than anything Jessica had said. Mrs. Henderson was right. I deserved better than this. I went to my room and made a decision. I was not waiting until the end of the weekend. I was leaving today. But first, I needed to do something I should have done a long time ago. I pulled out my phone and searched for divorce attorneys in my area. Found one with good reviews, sent an email requesting a consultation for Monday morning. The moment I hit send, I felt something shift. Pain, yes, but also relief, like a weight I'd been carrying for years was finally lifting. An hour later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost did not answer. "Hello, Mr. Colin. This is Brian from Resort Security." My stomach dropped. "Is this about Jessica?" "Yes, sir. There has been an incident. Your wife and her friends. Well, their credit cards were declined. All of them. The resort is demanding payment for the rooms and services they have used. It is quite a large bill. Your wife is very upset. She gave us your number." I sat there stunned. "How much?" "Around $4,500, sir. She said you would come help." I should have felt satisfaction, vindication. But instead, I just felt empty. "What about her friends?" "They left, sir. Said they had emergencies." "Your wife is alone here." "Of course they left. The elite friends who mocked me had abandoned her the second things got difficult. I could have hung up, could have left her there to figure it out herself, but that is not who I am. Tell her I will be there in 15 minutes. But tell her this too. I am not doing this as her husband. I am doing this because it is the right thing to do." When I walked into that resort lobby for the second time, everything looked different. The marble was still expensive, the music still played, but it felt hollow now. Jessica stood near the front desk looking destroyed. Her makeup was smeared, her hair was messy. She wore a resort robe over her clothes. When she saw me, she started crying. "Colin, I am so sorry." I held up my hand. "Do not. Just do not." The manager approached looking uncomfortable. "Sir, thank you for coming. We hate to do this, but policy requires full payment before guests depart. I understand. Show me the bill." He handed me a printed statement. $4,537. Spa treatments, fine dining, champagne, room service, top shelf, everything. Jessica and her friends had lived like royalty for less than 2 days. I pulled out my credit card and handed it to the manager, but before he could process it, I turned to Jessica. Everyone nearby could hear me. The staff, other guests, I did not care. I am paying this, not because I am your ATM, but because I still have dignity. Something you seem to have forgotten. When we get home, you will find divorce papers. This marriage is over. You wanted the elite lifestyle. You got it. But you lost someone who truly loved you, for who you were not what you could buy. Jessica was sobbing now. Colin, please. I was stupid. The girls, they influenced me. I was wrong. I know I was wrong. Where are those friends now, Jess? They left you. Just like they will always leave you when things get hard, because they are not your friends. They are people you perform for. She reached for my arm. I stepped back. Please, give me another chance. You had 5 years of chances. You threw them away the moment you told me I was not at your level. The manager processed the payment in awkward silence. I signed the receipt. As I was putting my card back in my wallet, my phone buzzed. An email notification. I glanced at it and froze. It was from my company. Subject line, "Congratulations on your promotion." I opened it, barely breathing. Colin, we are pleased to inform you that effective immediately you have been promoted to Senior Engineering Manager. Your salary will increase from $60,000 to $120,000 annually, plus a performance bonus package. Your recent project exceeded all expectations and demonstrated exceptional leadership. Congratulations. I stared at the screen, reading it twice to make sure it was real. Jessica had seen it too. Her eyes went wide. Colin, you got promoted. I locked my phone and put it away. It does not matter anymore. The manager cleared his throat. Mr. Colin, on behalf of the resort. We apologize for this unfortunate situation. As a gesture of goodwill, we would like to offer you a complimentary weekend stay in our best ocean view suite. He glanced at Jessica. For you only, sir. Not your companion. I almost laughed. 6 months ago, I would have been thrilled at that offer. But now, thank you, but no. I have better places to be. I walked toward the exit. Jessica called after me, her voice breaking. Colin, please. I kept walking. The automatic doors opened, and I stepped into the afternoon sun. I got in my car, started the engine, and drove away. In my rearview mirror, I could see Jessica standing in front of the resort alone, exactly the way she had made me feel. I did not feel happy about it, but I did not feel guilty either. I felt free. 3 months passed. 3 months of rebuilding my life from the ground up. I moved out of the house Jessica and I had shared, and into a smaller apartment downtown. 1-bedroom, brick walls, big windows. It was mine. Just mine. No shared space filled with tension and unspoken resentment. The divorce went through faster than I expected. Jessica did not fight it, did not ask for anything. I heard through mutual friends that she had cut ties with Madison, Amber, and Tiffany too. Turned out they were never really her friends, just people she thought could elevate her status. When she could not keep up anymore, they disappeared. Part of me felt bad for her, but mostly I just felt relief that I was no longer part of that world. Work became my focus. The promotion was real, and it changed everything. Not just the money, though, that helped, but the respect. My team looked up to me. My bosses valued my input. I was finally in a place where people saw me for what I could do, not what I lacked. I made new friends at work, real friends who invited me to grab drinks after hours, who asked how I was doing and actually listened to the answer. I started going to the gym, picked up my old guitar that had been gathering dust for years. On weekends, I drove out to hiking trails I had always wanted to explore, but never had time for. Slowly, I remembered who I was before I spent years trying to be enough for someone who would never think I was. One Saturday afternoon, I found myself driving back to the coast. I did not plan it. I just ended up on that highway, windows down, music playing. When I reached the town where the resort was, I drove past it without stopping. Kept going another 2 miles until I saw the faded sign for the Seaside Inn. I pulled into the parking lot. Mrs. Henderson was sitting on the porch in the same chair, a book in her lap. When she saw me, her face lit up. "Young man, you came back." I walked up the steps and sat in the chair next to hers. I did. "Wanted to thank you. For what, dear? For telling me the truth when I needed to hear it." She patted my hand. "You look different. Lighter. Like a weight lifted off your shoulders." I smiled. "I am. I finally chose myself." We talked for over an hour. I told her about the divorce, the promotion, the new life I was building. She listened with the kind of patience only someone who has lived a long life can have. When I finished, she said my late husband used to tell me something. Respect yourself first, then others will follow. He was a smart man. I stayed for coffee. Mrs. Henderson made it in an old percolator that probably belonged in a museum, but it tasted better than anything I had at fancy cafes. Before I left, she hugged me. You are going to be just fine, Colin. Better than fine. I believed her. I was not looking for another relationship, did not feel ready. Maybe would not for a while. And that was okay. I spent time with myself. Learned what I liked when I was not trying to please someone else. Turns out I liked quiet mornings with coffee and a book, liked cooking elaborate meals just because I could, liked spontaneous road trips to nowhere in particular. I reconnected with old friends I had lost touch with during my marriage. They welcomed me back without judgment, without questions I was not ready to answer. Life became simpler, smaller, but fuller. I thought about Jessica sometimes, wondered if she ever realized what she had thrown away, if she understood that the people she tried so hard to impress were never worth impressing, if she regretted choosing status over love, but honestly, it stopped mattering. She made her choice, and I made mine. I chose dignity. I chose self-respect. I chose to walk away from someone who made me feel invisible, and in doing that, I found something I had lost somewhere along the way. I found myself. The most important lesson I learned through all of this is simple but profound. Never let anyone make you feel like you are not enough, not a partner, not friends, not society. Your worth is not determined by your salary at your job title or whether you fit into someone else's idea of success. Love, real love, does not measure you against a standard. It accepts you as you are. And if someone cannot see your value, if they make you feel small or unworthy, the bravest thing you can do is walk away. Because staying in a relationship where you are not respected, not cherished, not seen, that is not love. That is slowly losing yourself. I drove back to that quiet beach, not the resort beach, but a public one a few miles down. Parked my car and walked along the shore as the sun started to set. The waves rolled in steadily, the sound constant and calming. I sat down in the sand and watched the horizon turn shades of orange and pink. Sometimes I wonder if Jessica ever realized what she lost. But honestly, it does not matter anymore. I lost a wife who did not respect me. But I found something more valuable, my self-worth. And you know what? That trade was worth every ounce of pain. If you are in a relationship where you feel invisible, remember this. You deserve to be someone's priority, not their option. And if they cannot see your value, walk away. Something better is waiting. It might be another person. It might be a better version of yourself. Either way, you will be free. And freedom, I have learned, is worth more than any elite resort or shallow friendship. It is worth more than holding on to something that stopped being real a long time ago. I stood up, brushed the sand off my jeans, and walked back to my car. The sun dipped below the horizon and the sky turned deep purple. I felt at peace, maybe for the first time in years. I got in my car, started the engine, and drove home, to my apartment, my space, my life. The one I built on my own terms, and it felt right. Have you ever been in a situation where someone made you feel like you were not enough? How did you handle it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear your stories. And if this story resonated with you, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel so you do not miss more real-life stories like this one. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it, someone who needs a reminder that their worth is not defined by anyone else. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And remember, you are enough, exactly as you are. Take care of yourselves out there. Better days are always ahead if you are brave enough to choose yourself.